I'm glad to be back with you this week. I'm excited to share another lesson video with you, and I hope that this will be meaningful. We are going to be talking about what we talked about on Sunday morning during children's time, if you were able to watch the service, and that's around this word witness. You may remember the big sign that I held up. Here's the word in another illustration. How are we to be a witness, and what does that mean? I'm going to read the story this time from the Spark Story Bible. So I invite you to hear these words, or if you happen to have this book, it's on page 498, and you can follow along there. This story is about Jesus' ascension, which means Jesus being lifted up and going into heaven. So, hear these words. After Jesus died and rose again, he and his disciples got together near Jerusalem. Jesus had some instructions for them. Jesus said, "As you know, God is doing amazing things in the world, but your help is needed. We need you to go and tell the stories about me. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone you meet what you've learned by following me. Be my witnesses in the world." Then suddenly, Jesus was rising up in the air. What was going on? He was being lifted into a cloud. Jesus' friends looked around, maybe confused at what to do. But two men in white robes had joined them. The men said, "Why are you just standing around looking up toward heaven? Don't worry, Jesus is going to come back." "Right," said one of Jesus' disciples. "Meanwhile, we have some work to do." This is one illustration of what that day might have looked like. Disciples watching Jesus rise up into the air. That must have been amazing to see. The question, the activity, the challenge first for this story that I want to say is ask a parent or family member, whoever's around you, ask them what their favorite story about Jesus is. Ask them why, ask them questions. What is their favorite story about Jesus? And then I want you to tell them what your favorite story about Jesus is. What do you love most? My favorite story, I'll go ahead and share that, is one of my favorite stories is Jesus and the woman at the well. This is an illustration, an example of this. And the reason I love it so much is because it was this woman who, unfortunately, wasn't really welcomed by society. She was considered less than. She probably didn't have much. People didn't like her. They treated her really badly. But Jesus treated her like anybody else. Loved her, welcomed her, was happy to show her who God is. And I love that about the story. So for me, what that means for now is the people on the outskirts, maybe that's friends who don't quite fit in. Maybe it's different people that you know, who life seems hard. Those people, Jesus loves just the same. Jesus especially sought them out and made sure their life was whole and full. So I love that story because I'm then called to do the same. I'm called to be a witness. This is another illustration of what that day might have looked like. This big word, witnesses. By sharing our favorite story about Jesus, whether that's with a friend or a family member, by sharing that, we are being a witness. We are expressing our love for God. And we're doing what Jesus told his disciples to do, saying, be my witnesses. I love this colorful image. And I love how the people are looking up at Jesus, smiling, realizing the goodness that's there. So that's the challenge for today, is for you to go ask a parent what their favorite story about Jesus is, and for you to do the same. There will be another activity or two down below in the description. So make sure, parents that are listening, make sure that you go listen to that or go do those as well. Glad to be with you today, and I pray that we are able to witness to the love of Jesus today.